Welcome. My name is Danielle Snyder, for those of you who have just jumped on, and I am really excited to talk to you about building a healthier mindset. This presentation is going to be presented to you by Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare. It's always a mind twist to say it, and Tufts Health Plan. And before we get started, I like to offer an opportunity to clear your mind and your space in order to be as present as possible. For anyone who has been a part of any of my discussions or talks before, this is a very common practice that I like to do with people, which is very connected to having a healthier mindset. There are so many distractions in life, and that is not a direct negative feedback for individual people. It's just the reality of life. There's social media, there's phone calls, there's kids, you name it. Our lives are really busy. And so very rarely do we have the opportunity to just sit and be present with ourselves. The challenge with not being able to sit and be present with ourselves is it's really difficult to work on our mindset and really practice having a healthier mindset. So today, for the next half an hour, I'm going to ask you to do everything in your power to decrease any distractions. Close out of your email, put your phone on silent, shut your door. Whatever it is that can help you be as focused as possible and present. I'm going to give you a few seconds to start that. And then one of the skills that is essential to having a healthier mindset is something that has become very popular, but is actually rooted in Eastern medicine. And one of the reasons why I love Eastern medicine is because it is survived the test of time. Well, I am very grateful for Western medicine. I think that, without Western medicine, this would be really extremely difficult, but complementing Western medicine with Eastern medicine is integrated healthcare. And so one of the main principles of Eastern medicine is mindfulness or meditation. When I'm talking to people about meditation, often the perspective that is taught to them is that it is an all or nothing responsibility. So you're either meditating an hour a day every day, or it's not working. The reality is small changes make big changes. I was recently reading something that said, I think it was like, if you make 1% of a change a day, that's 365% of a change a year. Sure, it actually works out mathematically, but I like the concept that something is better than nothing. Perfection is impossible, but consistency is really impactful. So the more we can work on being consistent, the better it is in making small steps to change in our life. So meditation is a skill I'm going to offer you that can help you be more present, decrease distractions, and be more mindful. When we are mindful, we are better able to make good decisions. So I am going to offer you to do a compassion meditation with me. And I want to start by having you take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. Please find as much of a comfortable seated position as you can and keep your spine straight. Notice where you place your hands. If seated, hopefully you are seated, support them in your lap. Now, I want you to imagine a dear loved friend or person sitting opposite of you, and that a white light connects your heart to their heart. Connect with the feelings of affection and warmth you have for them. Enjoy the feelings as they fill your body. Slowly repeat this phase internally. May I be well, happy, and peaceful. Allow the warmth of that loving kindness fill your body. And then I want you to transfer those feelings to your friends, saying to them, may you be well, happy, and peaceful. Allow yourself to tune into your breath. And as the light connects you and your friend, think and allow yourself to believe, may I be well, happy, and peaceful. May they be well, happy, and peaceful. Feel yourself bathe in the warmth and the light of loving kindness. I want to encourage you for the next minute to say those phrases to yourself and your friend. As you breathe naturally, remind yourself, may I be well, happy, and peaceful, and may they be well, happy, and peaceful. Allow the light to touch all inner beings inside yourself. Imagine that white light becoming a circle of light around you both. That light of love is bathing you in warmth and peace that radiates to your outside surroundings. Recognize feelings of love and compassion flowing from your heart into the universe. May we all be well, happy, and peaceful. As you continue to bathe in the warmth of loving kindness, turn your attention to your body and notice what feelings and sensation are there. Do you feel more relaxed? Is your brain a little quieter? Notice what is observing your body. And recognize that awareness, that peace can exist inside chaos. I want you to take one final breath in through your nose and exhale through your mouth. When you are ready, you can return to the room. And I want to offer this as a reminder that at any point you start to feel overwhelmed, stressed, that narrative often becomes internalized criticism. When we turn to our breath, we can connect back to this meditation of loving kindness and compassion. Compassion does not mean that we lack accountability. Compassion means allowing space for growth. So as we get started learning about how incredible our brain is to make healthy changes, I want to offer that as a reminder of one of the skills that you can now use. And, meditations are really easy to find. You can Google them online. There's, one of the good things, I know I started this presentation off talking about how there's so much negative with constant social media and our phones, but you can also use it for your good. There's breathing apps, meditation apps, and they're all just at the touch of your fingers. So as we get started, hopefully you feel a little bit more centered and grounded. And I want to just talk a little bit about the brain, because the brain is really cool. Kind of sounds corny, but I think it can be really fascinating to learn about the power of your brain and how it can impact how we interpret and process situations. So some fun brain facts to talk about. So first, it is a myth that we only use 10% of your brain. I don't know how that got started, but we actually use all of our brain, even when we're sleeping. So if we really connect to how powerful our brain is and that we use all of it, we can remember that there are a lot of opportunities to change and grow the power of our brain. So this is another one I really love. Our brain storage capacity is considered virtually unlimited. As you get older, your capacity to remember and recall can change just naturally. However, there are 86 billion neurons in your brain. Each neuron forms a connection to other neurons, and that can add up to 1 quadrillion connections. So they combine and grow stronger and develop more as we also get older. If neurons become damaged, that is when like memory can be impacted. But we have the opportunity, regardless of age, to keep growing them and using them. And that is a really cool skill that we often take for granted. It is a skill, though. We have to practice these skills rather than just assume they're going to be at our fingertips without practicing. I was going to say it's like riding a bike, but it's actually not like riding a bike. It is like doing a skill that you need to practice in order to be good at it. So endurance, let's say. So it would be like wanting to get on a bike and ride 100 miles if you've only been riding 5 miles. You got to work up to it. Same with building a healthier mindset. We really have to start to work at it. So, oh yeah, and if at any point anyone has any questions, feel free to drop them in the chat and we will address them. There are two and more, but there are 2 main types of mindset. There is the fixed mindset and the growth mindset. A fixed mindset are people who believe that we are born a certain way and we cannot change. A growth mindset believes that challenges and failure help someone develop and become empowered and strong. It is important to note where and how you perceive your mindset, because if you are coming at life with a fixed mindset, it's going to be a little bit more important to become aware of that and know where to shift your boundaries so you can start to grow and improve your mindset. A growth mindset is the opportunity, you look at things as opportunities. So it's a little bit easier to make those changes at first, but neither one is impossible for making changes. So the first step when creating a healthy mindset is figuring out what serves you and what is not serving you. Acknowledgement and awareness is one of our most powerful skills. I'm pausing because I really want that to sit in your brain. Becoming aware of what is not serving us is the first step in change. Once you know it, it will be easier to establish what will. The next tool or idea or concept I want to invite into this discussion is fear. It is one of the best ways to look at different goals and create them by defining what we're afraid of. So one of the statements that I like to use is what if statements. When you're thinking about making a change, using a what if statement can be really helpful to noticing, all right, what am I afraid of if I start to do things differently? So with people who have healthier mindsets, one of those most important qualities are they have boundaries and they ask for what I need, for what they need. Clearly also ask for what I need. But clearly, when people have healthy mindsets, they're able to verbalize what they need. And so when you're thinking about what you need, the what if statement comes into play. So let's say you're really struggling with how much you're making a year and you really need to ask your boss for a raise. A fixed mindset would say something along the lines of like, what's the point? If my boss was going to offer me a raise, they would just do it. Where a growth mindset would say, if I don't ask, how will I know? So the exercise is, what if I asked my boss for a raise? So the first thing you want to do is define what's the worst thing that could happen. The next thing is prevent. How do I prevent it from happening? And then the third thing is repair. If the worst thing does happen, what can I do? Then you really get to think about what benefits are or could come if I even attempt. What new skills may be offered through this? When I think about the opportunity, and yeah, I'm calling it an opportunity to ask for a raise, it can be really scary. But if I ask myself, what if, I can't really envision the worst case scenario happening. So in my mind, like the worst case scenario would be my boss fires me. And if I kind of like go through that in my brain, like the reality is, if my boss doesn't think I deserve a raise, then likely they're just going to say no. And I can ask more questions. And that being empowered enough to ask is an opportunity to really embrace a healthy mindset and know what I'm worth. So that is one skill I want to offer you. We acknowledge what we want or what we're struggling with, and then we ask ourselves, what if? And then we think about how we would manage those what ifs. Another thing I like to just kind of consider is, if I avoid doing this, will the pros outweigh the cons? And a lot of times my fear or my anxiety is louder than that healthy mindset. But when we lay it out, such as if I think about in 3 months or 6 months and 8 months, it is probably going to more negatively impact you if you don't do the thing you're scared of than if you do. Because worst case scenario, using the raise thing for example still, your boss says no, you say, okay, how can I get a raise? Then you have 6 months to practice and then re-ask. That falls into a healthy mindset of growth. If you are in a fixed mindset, your boss says no, and you stop trying. At the end of the day, who does that serve? Definitely not you. Information can be power. So the next way I like to help people improve their mindset is by connection. Again, not to go back to negatively discussing about social media and phones and stuff like that, but it really does have an isolating impact on us. We are likely to not engage or see as many people. And the challenge with that is we have less support and we're more likely to be stuck in our own ways. So finding people who challenge you and are supportive and believe in you is a really great opportunity. And through COVID, we have actually seen the impact of personal connections and how it improves not only your mindset, but also your overall health. Because loneliness is linked in a whole manner of health challenges. So I know you're really busy, but finding time to spend with people you love and support you is really important. The next skill or thought pattern that I like you to think about is perspective. When something is really bugging you and you find yourself stuck on it, you get an opportunity to look at it from multiple perspectives. It can be really challenging in the moment to embrace a healthier mindset and not be derailed by someone else's bad mood. But at the end of the day, if you find yourself negatively impacted by someone else's reaction to you or discussion with you or, flippant response to you, it really is just going to negatively weigh on you. So when you're building a healthy mindset, pausing and reflecting about how much space, or I like to say, do you really want them to rent for free in your brain, impacts you. As we talked about in the beginning, mindfulness is one of those skills that are really important because they let you hear your own thoughts. So the definition of mindfulness is the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of heightened or complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences. While feelings are really important, they're not facts. And it is really important to be aware of how easy it is to be caught ruminating about the past or the future. There are so many ways in which I struggle to say this because nothing is really non-productive, but it kind of works in this discussion is like non-productive thoughts of being unkind to yourself or beating yourself up for a mistake or worrying about the future does not serve you. So mindfulness allows you to observe your thoughts rather than getting caught up in them. What mindfulness asks you to do is be present and think about what is happening in your brain. So let's say, for example, your boss writes a flippant email to you. Mindfulness would have you pause before you respond and think about what you're feeling in your body. If you feel a little sensation in your chest, you'd be like, okay, I feel the sensation in your chest. If your immediate gut reaction is to fly off the handle and send an email that doesn't serve you, pause. Connect. Be curious. And allow yourself to be more present. At first, it's challenging because your thoughts will ruminate, and we do get a little bit of a hit of dopamine when we do respond automatically. But if you become aware of your patterns, you could respond in a way that would be healthier for both you and your boss. So let's say your boss shoots you an email that says, I need this right away. And they just gave it to you 5 minutes ago. Your initial reaction might be something along the lines of like, I can't do that. Versus, okay, I'm going to sit here. I know I have this deadline. I'm going to take a deep breath. I'm be curious. And then I'm going to respond and ask a question. Something along the lines of like, I would like to be able to do that. Here's my time constraints. How can we make this happen together? Not easy when you're talking to your boss, but more likely that you can build a healthy mindset and respond in an appropriate way than if you respond flippantly or you rush and try to get it done and make a mistake. So mindfulness helps you be aware of triggers, negative thought patterns, how you're responding, and also your areas of strength. So one of the tools that I love with mindset is the 90-second rule. And this was actually created by this brain scientist, Jill Taylor. And when she was studying it, she found that there's a 90-second chemical process. So an emotional response beyond that 90 seconds is a choice. So if we respond in 90 seconds, we are more likely to be caught up in reactive rather than responsive. So if you can pause for 90 seconds, and it doesn't have to be just sitting still. It could be walking. It could be swaying. There's this concept called tapping. And actually, I want you guys to do it with me. So take a deep breath in through your nose. Exhale through your mouth. And we're going to use 2 fingers. And we're going to tap underneath our eyes, right where the bridge of our nose. Then I want you to tap continually underneath your eyes, down the side of your jaw, on your chin, back down your neck, to your collarbone, to your shoulders. I have to switch sides because of mobility. And then down your arms. Back up your arms, your elbows, to your shoulders. I want you to pause, take another deep breath in, and connect back to the moment. So you could use the skill of tapping in your 90-second space, and it is a very good grounding exercise. Because a lot of times when we're emotionally driven or responsive, we're responding from our amygdala, which is the part of our brain which is responsible for fight, flight, or freeze. And it can be really helpful to do an activity such as tapping to ground us before we respond. So I just threw a ton of skills at you, but when I'm talking about the brain, I get so excited because it's actually not a muscle. It's actually mostly fat with cells, but I like to think about it as a muscle. The more we use it and expand it, the stronger it gets. Our brains are not fixed. They want to learn, they want to grow. They are waiting for you to teach them. Mindfulness, meditation, awareness of your thoughts, and curiosity helps you go from having a less healthy mindset to a healthy mindset. And you can start today simply by becoming aware of those thoughts. When you're thinking about doing something new and fears pop up, using the skill of what if is really powerful. And then also, I always encourage 90-second reset. There are very few jobs or situations in which you can't pause for those 90 seconds to help your brain. Thank you so much for coming to this presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them now. And if not, I hope you have a great day of practicing these skills. Okay, wonderful. Take care.